In 2021, something remarkable happened in the American labor market. Nearly 48 million workers quit their jobs in what economists called the Great Resignation. Workers discovered a truth that Adam Smith wrote about in 1776. When labor is scarce, wages must rise. During 2021 and 2022, average hourly earnings grew at rates not seen in decades. Workers at Amazon, Starbucks, and major manufacturers won significant wage increases, not through traditional union power, but simply by having options. But there's a darker side to this story that Smith also predicted, one that plays out every single day in boardrooms around the world. Imagine you're standing in line at your local coffee shop. The barista making your latte is earning $15 an hour. In 1776, Adam Smith would tell you that this wage isn't determined by how hard she works, or even how much profit the coffee shop makes. It's determined by something far more fundamental: power. And right now, you're watching an ancient power struggle that Smith described nearly 250 years ago. Smith begins his chapter on wages with a thought experiment. Imagine a world before landlords and bosses, where every worker keeps 100% of what they produce. A fisherman catches fish and keeps all of them. A shoemaker makes shoes and trades them directly for the fish. In this world, as productivity improves, everyone gets richer. The fisherman invents a better net that catches 10 times more fish. Fish becomes cheaper and everyone benefits. This is the world that never was. But understanding it reveals everything about the world we actually live in. Because something changed. The moment land became private property and capital accumulated in the hands of a few, the worker's entire paycheck got divided into 3 parts. First, the landlord takes rent for the privilege of working on their land. Second, the employer takes profit for providing the tools, materials, and upfront wages. What's left over? That's your wage. And Smith is brutally honest about what this means. Your wage isn't what you produce. It's what remains after everyone else takes their cut. Now here's where it gets interesting and a bit uncomfortable. Smith argues that workers and employers are in constant conflict over wages. Workers want more. Employers want to pay less, but the fight isn't fair. Think about the tech layoffs of 2022-2023. Companies like Meta, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft cut over 150,000 jobs combined. Many of these companies remained profitable. Meta's revenue actually grew in 2022, despite cutting 11,000 workers. They did it because they could. Smith predicted this exact behavior. He wrote that masters are always in a tacit combination not to raise wages. They don't need secret meetings or signed agreements. It's just understood, the unwritten rule of business. But when workers try to organize, in Smith's time, it was illegal. Today, we've seen Amazon spend millions on anti-union campaigns. According to reports, Amazon held mandatory anti-union meetings and fired union organizers at multiple facilities. We've watched Starbucks close stores where workers tried to unionize. Smith saw this coming. He noted that laws prohibited worker combinations, but permitted employer combinations. The power imbalance isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature. Yet Smith noticed something that gives workers hope. There's a floor below which wages cannot fall. A worker must earn enough to survive and raise a family, or else workers disappear. This isn't kindness, it's mathematics. If wages fall too low, the next generation of workers won't exist. Smith calculated that a laborer needed to earn double his own maintenance to raise 2 children to working age, accounting for the reality that half of all children died before adulthood. Dark as it sounds, this created a natural minimum wage, enforced not by law, but by biology. But here's the revolutionary insight that changed everything. It's not how rich a country is that determines wages, it's whether it's getting richer. Smith compared 18th century England with colonial America. England was far wealthier, but wages in America were double those in England. Why? America was growing faster. When an economy expands, employers compete for workers. When it stagnates, workers compete for jobs. China in Smith's time was incredibly wealthy, but economically frozen. Wages were so low that families lived on fishing, boats, and infanticide was common. The difference wasn't total wealth, it was momentum. This explains something puzzling about modern economies. During the Great Resignation of 2021-2022, the U.S. unemployment rate was actually falling. reaching 3.6% by March 2022. The economy was recovering from COVID, and the demand for labor was growing faster than the supply of workers. Companies weren't just hiring. They were desperately competing for talent. Wage growth for hourly workers hit 5.6% year over year in 2021. For a brief moment, workers had power. But by 2023-2024, as the Federal Reserve raised interest rates and economic growth slowed, that power began to shift back. Tech companies announced layoffs, and suddenly workers had fewer options. Smith also observed something that seems counterintuitive. In 18th century Britain, summer wages exceeded winter wages, even though heating costs made winter more expensive for families. If wages simply covered subsistence, they'd be higher in winter, but they weren't, because wages track the value of work done, not the cost of living. Modern gig economy workers know this intimately. Uber surge pricing doesn't care if it's raining, or if you need to pay rent, it responds to demand. Then Smith makes an observation that sounds almost cruel, but contains a crucial truth. He noted that poverty doesn't prevent people from having children. It prevents children from surviving. Highland Scottish women bore 20 children, but might have only 2 survive to adulthood. Wealthy women had fewer pregnancies but higher survival rates. This wasn't about morality. It was about resources. Today, we see this pattern globally. Countries with higher per capita incomes have lower birth rates, but much lower infant mortality. The cruel mathematics of poverty hasn't changed. Only the numbers. But Smith wasn't pessimistic about workers' futures. He argued that rising wages benefit everyone. When workers earn more, they spend more, creating demand that grows the entire economy. A country where the majority is poor and miserable cannot truly prosper. This was radical in 1776, and it's still controversial today. Every debate about minimum wage increases echoes this argument. Opponents claim higher wages kill jobs. Smith argued that higher wages create prosperity. He also noticed that well-paid workers are more productive. This contradicted conventional wisdom then and now. Many employers believed that poverty kept workers motivated. Pay them too much, and they'd become lazy. Smith found the opposite. Workers paid by the piece often overworked themselves to exhaustion. The problem wasn't laziness, it was that poverty-level wages created desperation, not dedication. Modern research confirms this. Companies like Costco that pay above-market wages see lower turnover, higher productivity, and better customer service than competitors, who minimize labor costs. Smith concluded with an observation that remains startling. The progressive state, when a society is getting richer, is the happiest for everyone, including workers. The stationary state is dull. The declining state is miserable. This wasn't just about money, it was about hope. When workers believe tomorrow will be better than today, they invest in the future. They learn skills, start businesses, take risks. When they believe the future is fixed or declining, they survive rather than thrive. So what does this mean for you right now in 2025? Look at your own wage. Ask yourself, is it determined by what you produce or by your negotiating power? Are you in a growing industry or a stagnant one? Can you quit and find better work tomorrow, or are you trapped? These questions matter because Smith revealed an uncomfortable truth in a market economy. Your wage isn't a measure of your worth or your work. It's a measure of your leverage. The barista isn't paid $15 an hour because that's what a latte is worth. She's paid that because she can walk across the street and make $16 at the competing cafe. The moment that option disappears, so does her raise. The genius of Smith wasn't that he justified this system. It's that he explained it with brutal honesty. He showed us that the economy isn't a natural force like gravity. It's a human system built on power relationships. And those relationships can change. When workers have options, wages rise. When they don't, wages fall. The question isn't whether this is fair. The question is, what are you going to do about it?